Hello and welcome to Boxing in Your Face. My name is Joe Cortez, international boxing referee from Las Vegas, Nevada. This week we're going to talk about fouls that occurred during the contest. And before I go into that topic, I want to tell you about how I started my refereeing back in the early 70s. And actually I started as an amateur referee, and I had the pleasure of befriending a gentleman by the name of Larry Hazard. And Larry Hazard was a household name back in the days when we were refereeing together. And Larry Hazard, after being a referee for about 7 or 8 years, was appointed to the boxing commissioner for the state of New Jersey. Well, prior to him becoming a commissioner, those years as a referee, we used to brainstorm together every day on the telephone, 5 to 6, 7 times a day. We will call each other to try to leave those stones unturned, to try to improve the sport of boxing with the refereeing. We used to watch referees from back in the days, and they used to do a fine job, you know, for their standards back then. But Larry and I always felt we can improve positioning, the ring mechanics of a referee. So we used to call each other up, and what I'm trying to explain to you right now is to try to get a buddy, have a buddy system where you can have a referee, like I had Larry or Larry had me, and we would try to just create different scenarios to see what we would do if certain things were to occur during the middle of a contest. So that only sharpened up our skills, and we learned every day by talking to each other, and we learned about how do you do certain duties, like let's say a double knockdown. Two fighters get knocked down simultaneously. Well, it will happen every so often. They both throw punches, they both go down. What do? How do you start counting? So things like that we'll talk about in other segments. But today, I want to talk to you about the low blows. Fighters that have a habit of going low are fighters that are not living up to par when we say good sportsmanlike conduct. Some fighters accidentally can go low. If an opponent grabs you by the head, pulls you down, at the same time you're throwing a punch to his body, of course, when you go down, you pull his head down, you cause him to hit you low because he's throwing a punch, and with the momentum of you pulling his head down and he's going to your body, the punch is going to stray low. So be careful that you don't call a low blow on the fighter who threw it because it was his opponent who got hit low that caused it. So be very careful with that. Watch that, and you can practice that with anyone. Just pull his head down. As you throw a punch to your body, you're going to go low automatically. So the other thing is that when fighters are hurt, I've noticed that when fighters are hurt, they seem to want to go low to try to take the momentum off of the opponent. So they'll go low, the other fighter is hurt, the other fighter goes down. But if you're in the wrong position, what I'm talking about positioning, you have to see when the punches are being thrown from which angle. If you're on the blind side, you're going to miss a low blow. So it may be a blow to the body, and he goes down. Or it may be a low blow, and you start counting because you thought it went to the body. So positioning is very important. These fighters that have a tendency of going low because when they're in trouble are the fighters that you automatically, right off the get-go, take a 2-point deduction because you felt it was intentional. Now, if you're not sure, you want to just, give a light warning. However, when you want to give him a good, strong warning, this is a first strong warning, and you let him know that you're up to what he's up to. He's no good going low. Fighters are not supposed to do that, and I get upset when I see fighters who are fighting dirty, whether they coming in with the intentional headbutt, they go with those low blows, they hit an opponent while he's down. But today we're going to talk more about the low blows. Okay? If a fighter gets hit with a low blow, and you come back and you retaliate, you do the same to him, you're not going any place. You got to let these fighters know. If he hits you low, don't retaliate, because now, if I take a point from him, I got to take a point from you, so you're back to square one. If he hits you low, back off, let me take care of the action right then and there. I will know what to do, whether I'm going to give him a warning or whether I'm going to do a point deduction. And what I like to do is I like to go into the corners in between rounds and let them know, listen buddy, keep those punches up. I don't want to start taking some points or you may be disqualified. So fighters then will understand. But you know, where do you take control of this? Back in the dressing room. You address them in the dressing room. You let them know that if you go low, I'm going to give you some point deduction or you may be disqualified. There may be some warnings, but if you think it's intentional, there are no warnings for intentional blows. When it's intentional headbutt, you're not going to give a warning. You take a 2-point deduction. Intentional low blow, your judgment, low blow intentionally, 2-point deduction. And you'll stop them in their tracks. You know, I don't want to be part of the decision maker in the ring. My job is to enforce the rules, but first and foremost is safety. But these fighters who have a tendency of going low, especially when they're in trouble, looking for a way out, some fighters want to be disqualified. They know they're going to get knocked out. They say, you know what, I'm going to start going low and let the referee disqualify me. In their minds, they say, well, I lost to fighter so-and-so because I got disqualified, and I should have not gotten disqualified. But in their mind, they know they want to get stopped, and they don't want to go down with a TKO or knockout on their record, so they go foul. They figure better see a disqualification on their record than a loss. So that's one thing you have to be careful with fighters. The trainers should also be aware that if you're training your fighters, have him fight up to par. Make sure that he's not, don't teach him any bad habits. You know, boxing sometimes get black eyes because of a fighter being disqualified. We don't need that in boxing. We're trying to raise the bar as far as the sport is concerned. As referees, we want to try to be the best at what we're doing. We want the trainers to train your fighters correctly. And if your fighter has a habit of going low, tell them that this is going to cost him possibly an opportunity for a world title fight or an opportunity to get up into the rankings. You know, and that's the fighter's dream. Get into the rankings, become a recognizable fighter, and then hopefully get a title shot. Become a world champion. That's every fighter's dream, be a world champion. If you're going to fight dirty, you're not going to make it that way, you know. So just try to enhance your skills as referees. Get yourself your manual. If you want to learn how to become a referee, go to your local boxing gyms, talk to the managers there, the trainers, and see if they give you the opportunity to work inside the ring with the fighters while they're sparring. This way, when you're sparring, when they're sparring, you're in the ring moving around, positioning, your ring mechanics, and you try to get a buddy. Get a buddy who can help you. I get another referee who can help guide you, like a mentor. Let them give you some pointers. Watch the fights on television and watch the other referees, see how they perform their duties, and try to copy their styles in a way that you can say, okay, you know, I like the way he moves, I like the way he yells his commands. Always when you give your commands, an intentional headbutt or low blows, you know, keep punches up. When you say, all right, keep your punches up, don't just say keep your punches up without giving the sign. Keep the punches up, that's all universal. Headbutt, behind the head, elbows, that's all universal. And if you get in the habit of doing these signs, when a knockdown occurs, you know, knockdown is good, then you count, send the fighter to a neutral corner. But again, we're trying to focus today on the low blows, and some fighters may cry foul when they got hit with a borderline shot, and in your eyes, you know that was not a punch for him to go down and you know, squirm all over the floor on the canvas and say that, oh, I got hit low. You got to make a judgment call, you know, and make a good solid judgment. Do your homework. Tell these fighters, you know, if you can't win a fight on a low blow. In boxing, no one can win a fight on a low blow. The only way they're going to win on a low blow is when it's an intentional and you keep taking points from the fighter who's causing the injury. And if you tell a fighter you keep hitting him low, you know, that's intentional. Point deduction after 2-point deduction, the third one is automatic disqualification. You're like 3 strikes and you're out, buddy. So be aware of your rules. There is a mandatory 5-minute rest period. You don't have to take a 5-minute rest period for a low blow. It's up to the discretion of the, well, can't say discretion of the referee. He has an option to take up to 5 minutes. Now, anything past that, he loses the fight by abandonment. You cannot win a fight on a low blow. However, keep in mind that fighters will look for any little edge they can to win a fight. That's fine, as long as it's within the guidelines. But when they start going out of the square, now you're looking for trouble. You know, you want to win a fight fair and square, do it with your gloves, not by faking low blows and things like that. Anyway, guys, this week's segment had to do a lot with the low blows. So next week's segment, we will be talking about other fouls that occur in boxing. We may go with the fighters who are being knocked down and get hit while they're down, but that's another topic we'll talk about. Guys, take care. God bless. We'll see you next week. Take care. Goodbye.